Let's all play What's My Line?
Well, listen, we are here again, and it's Friday. How about that one, huh, folks?
Which Friday?
Good Friday.
It's a good, any Friday is a good Friday. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show out there. We have guests, we have mystery guests, we have challengers. And right now, with our first challenger, enter and sign in, please. Rudy Gernreich. Of course, you all know designer Rudy Gernreich as the internationally famous designer of women's clothes and the man who shook the fashion world not too many years ago with the topless bathing suit, for which we are all deeply grateful. Rudy is here today as a designer of a product entirely new to him. We will now show the audience what it is Rudy Gernreich is currently designing. And we'll start the game with Sherry Henry.
Rudy, is this some product that's used in the home?
Yes.
Most of the designers now are going into some home furnishing fields. Is it related to that?
Yes.
Would it be found on the second story of a house? This room, the product would be,
It could be,
used
yes.
in a room on the second story?
Yes.
Would it either be a bedroom or a bathroom, perhaps?
Yes.
Yes. Would it be a bathroom?
No.
No.
1 down and 9 to go. Gene, you want to have a shot at this?
I wonder if it might be a bedroom.
Yes.
You've done it again.
You have designed something for a bedroom
Yes.
rather than an entire bedroom. It's not a topless bed, I assume.
No.
No. Has it anything to do with the bed?
Yes.
It has something to do with the bed. And you've designed it. Is this something different from what we ordinarily think of as a bed? Would I recognize it as a bed if I saw it?
It's not a bed.
2 down and 8
Then
to
I would
go.
not recognize it as a bed. That's the kind of kid I am.
You are a sneaky person. Arlene.
It's something that is put upon the bed, I take it, Rudy.
Yes.
Is it a dazzling sheet and pillowcase combination and blanket? No.
3 down and 7 to go. Soupy.
I certainly was wrong.
But it is, it goes on the bed, but it's not a sheet. Or
It's a lady.
I don't think it can really improve on the design we have now.
Now you've designed it. Would it be the bedspread? A comforter?
Yes.
Well, close enough. It's a quilt. Rudy has done a collection of pillows and quilts for Knoll International. How did you happen to move over to that field?
Well, I was working on some quilted fabrics for my clothes, for jackets and coats. And they looked very good, and I thought I would have some made up for my own bed, beds in the house. And then when they turned out very beautifully, and then I thought they should be marketed, and then Knoll saw them and liked them very much.
Are they
So
going to
they're
mass
making-
produce them?
Well, they're really right now one of a kind. They're really, everyone is very different from the other. Eventually we may mass produce them.
Now, where are they being, where are the outlets for them?
In all the Knoll showrooms all over the country and also in Paris.
Probably the best way to describe these, I suppose, is to see them. Could we open the curtains, please, Lloyd, and we'll go up. These are reversible, are they not?
Yes, each one is reversible to another pattern on the other side.
What's the green? Oh, look at this one. Boy, that's terrific. Look at that.
Some of them are plain and have a geometric pattern on the other side.
And
most of them have 2 patterns.
Now, are any of these pillows made to go with them, or are they made to go with opposite ones?
Well, I like them to be as mixed up as possible. I don't like them to match anything.
Okay, look at this one. This is black with gray with circles, and this is
Well,
That's really
violet
good.
and orange.
Violet
But
and orange.
the cushions are supposed to be a different color, maybe sometimes the same pattern, but a
now,
different color.
now these are very modern. Are they meant to be only in modern rooms?
Not at all. They can go into any kind of a house, I think.
They're really
I
beautiful.
hope.
And they're very geometric. That seems, very contemporary. Was that the intention?
Definitely, because I think geometrics go with everything. And they are really very
Now,
contemporary.
what sizes do they come in? Sometimes you can't get them.
They come in kings and twins.
Uh-huh. And what's the difference in price, like a twin?
A twin is 125,
And the king size is what?
275.
And what about the pillows?
They're 40.
Now, this isn't made like I think of a quilt as being sort of wool, but this isn't. This is like a double knit suit.
They are. They're double knit wool.
They're really
They're
terrific.
just like the fabrics that I use in my clothes.
They're really beautiful.
Thank
Congratulations, and thank you for bringing. You should have been up there with those quilts. They're really beautifully made.
Thank you,
They're
Larry.
extraordinary. That's all right. And I mean that sincerely. And now would our next challenger enter and sign in, please? David? Brian? Where are you from, Mr. Brian?
Palmer Park, Maryland.
Palmer Park, Maryland. Now, panel, David Bryan deals with a living creature, and we will now show the audience what that creature is. And we will start the questioning with Gene Shalit.
Can I assume that you deal with a living creature?
Yes.
Is this living creature got 4 legs?
Yes.
Is this living creature a living creature which, if a lady living creature saw it, she might say, eek? Or, watch out, and what is that doing in my living room?
I would think she would certainly say, what is that doing in my living room?
Okay. Do you deal with this creature in the wild rather than in a cage? In its natural state,
Yes.
in other words.
Well, not really. Not really. I mean, he's not out there where it is. It's where he is. Isn't that
Correct.
It visits him, huh?
right? Arlene?
It's where he is?
Yeah.
Yes.
In other words, he doesn't go out into the jungle or into the forest or into the piney woods to deal with this
But it's
creature.
where you work?
Yes.
Do you work in a place that would compare to a zoo?
Yes.
And you tend to a specific animal in this place.
Right.
Is that
Yes.
correct?
Now-
Is it a fur-bearing animal?
Yes.
Is it an animal we are trying to keep from being extinct?
Yes.
Is it
Is it considered an endangered species, actually?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's not considered.
It's not
an
considered.
endangered.
Okay, 2 down, 8 to go, Soupy.
But it's a kind of animal. Has this animal in another form? I mean, like not your animal, but had been on TV with his own series. Would it be maybe related to Gentle Ben?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Sherry.
Mr. Bryan, I'm going to take sort of a guess here. If you live in Maryland, you might have something to do with the Washington Zoo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you by any chance be the keeper of the panda bears that came
Yes, you're right.
That's it, the giant pandas. He is the panda keeper, among other things, at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., at the zoo there. When were the pandas brought to the United States?
They were bought April 16th of 72.
Now, we have here, through the kindness of the internationally famous television kindergarten romper room, we have some film of the only 2 pandas in the Western Hemisphere. They're at home there in the Washington Zoo, and we'll look at it while David Bryan tells us about them. Could we roll the film? There we go. Who's that?
This is Shing Shing playing with his supposedly panda-proof ball. And this is outdoor yards which chain link fence is separate the 2 animals. That is a picture of Ling Ling doing rolls. There she go again.
They're darling. How old are they?
She's 27 months and he's 21 months old.
Now, why are they kept separate?
They're solitary animals in the wild.
Oh, they are.
Yes.
Well, if you keep them separate, how are they ever going to breed?
Well, when they reach maturity, which is the age of 3, 3.5.
Then you put them together?
Then we'll put them together.
Is there a period during which they can be put together, or is there a, you know?
Well, they have a breeding period, which the female comes into estrus, and the male, he comes into rut. And when this period happens, then when you can put the two animals together.
Do you know when it is? Because they've never been bred in captivity.
Oh, well, they make their vocal during that time, and they sound as if they're a leopard of some kind.
That's
Really?
a mating call, kind
That
of?
is a mating call of the two
Of the
animals.
giant panda. What do they eat?
When you know it, he goes. There you go.
What do the pandas eat?
Well, they eat cooked rice, cooked sweet potato, carrots, apples, and much bamboo.
Was it hard for them to adjust to being here?
Well,
Sure
the
they were
female
sick.
adapted to
Probably missed the Chinese.
our area quite rapidly, which the male, it took him a little longer. But after a period of time, well, he adjusted also.
Are they all right now?
Right.
That's
Doing
terrific.
well.
And on behalf of everybody, thank you for taking such
Sure.
good care of them.
Right.
Thank you for being on What's My Line. We have just time for one little round of Who's Who. So, Lloyd, could we open up the curtain, please? And here we have four nice people who have consented to play Who's Who with us from the audience. One is an administrative assistant, a sonar technician, one sells furniture, and one is a chemist. The job is to hand out the card so that each person is holding the card that states his or her occupation. You have 20 seconds. We'll start with Soupy Sales. Ready, set, go. And that is correct. That is what you call a quick round of Who's Who. Would you tell us who you are, please?
Alan Packer from Flowertown, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And you, sir?
George Zerman, Louisville, Kentucky, chemist.
Okay.
Charlotte Kaiser, Barrows, New York, administrative assistant.
My favorite one so far.
Rick Thompson, USS Massey, Fort Schuyler, New York.
Okay. Thank you very much. You didn't stump them, but we have a special gift for each of you, and thank you for playing Who's Who on What's My Line. Thank you.
Each member of the Who's Who team will receive a Samsonite Silhouette Beauty Case in new wild strawberry color. Featuring Magic Action pop-up mirror, Samsonite. We make travel a little...
Order now.
Okay, we're back, and it's time for the special feature of What's My Line, the appearance of our mystery guest. Are your blindfolds all in place, panel? Arlene's is in her eye. There it goes. Would our mystery guest enter and sign in, please? Okay, panel, you have about 3 minutes to discover the identity of our mystery guest. We'll go one question at a time, and let's start with Soupy.
Oh, that was a marvelous ovation, mystery guest. Are you a beautiful lady? What?
No. No.
Sherry?
Ugly lady. Are you generally found on television? Primarily found on television?
Partly, yes.
Gene?
You're partly on television. I got to figure out what part now. Is a part of you in the movies?
Partly.
Partly in the movies.
Arlene?
Are you in a picture that is playing at the present time in New York?
Probably, I don't know.
Soupy?
But it isn't a woman, is it?
No.
It's a guy, right?
Yeah. That's a guy
That's all
disguising his
bluff.
voice.
Oh, it is a guy. Well, now, are you currently on Broadway?
Yes.
Sherry?
Are you a young fellow?
No.
Gene?
Oh, my. Are you in a comedy on Broadway right now?
Partly.
Partly a comedy?
Partly a comedy. Arlene?
If it's partly a comedy, is it mostly George Bernard Shaw?
Yes.
Is it Ricardo Montalban?
Yes. Ricardo Montalban. It is Ricardo Montalban, who is wholly a part of many things. Of many things. Of all the things that you do, what do you like doing the best?
The theater, of course. The theater is the most rewarding, naturally. It's although it's the most hostile, particularly certain critics here in New York are very hostile.
That are hostile, Ricardo.
But other than that, it's a great joy. The communication with the audience is very exciting.
Well, but actually, the critics have been very kind to the show and enthusiastic about it all over the country.
Not kind. They were. We got raves. Elliot Norton, for instance, in Boston, Claudia Cassidy in Chicago, and so forth.
Claudia Cassidy came?
Oh, a rave. I mean, raves all over, except here, Mr. Barnes.
That hasn't happened since the flood.
Well,
Claudia Cassidy liked something.
And Mr. Simon here, is giving us a lovely review, evidently. Only the one who really destroyed us is the Times, Mr. Barnes.
But Clive Barnes, which I find very strange, says he doesn't like Shaw.
That's right. And he starts out by saying that he hates Shaw. So it seems to me that he should have disqualified himself from criticizing something that beforehand he's prejudiced to dislike, and therefore I think it lacks integrity in some way, Larry.
But you're marvelous in it.
Well, I don't know that I'm marvelous in it. It is the best role that I have ever had in my life, because in Hollywood I've never really had a good part. You know, television sometimes affords me some fairly good roles, but in motion pictures I never had a really good role. There are not too many roles written for Mexicans, you see, but this thing, Don Juan in Hell, is such an exciting and full and rich role, and the audiences are with us to such an extent.
You have one of the most difficult things to do in it of anything ever on a stage.
Well, you know, the role that I have is longer than Hamlet or King Lear, or perhaps together. It's a massive role, and so I've learned so much about my profession since I've been doing it.
So you've been doing this. It's one of the most. Don Juan in Hell is the name of the show, and it's one of the most brilliant things he ever wrote.
I think so.
Show,
yes,
I mean.
Yes,
you have such a marvelous cast.
The great Agnes Moorehead.
She's repeating the role she did once before.
Yes, she originated. Paul Henry, the wonderful gentleman of the golden era.
Huh?
Pardon me?
He plays the devil.
Edward Mulhare.
Edward Mulhare plays
None other than Mr. Edward Mulhare. 3 consummate actors. So to say the words of Shaw in concert with this magnificent artist is for me the experience of my life, and we have people coming to see the show 2 and 3 times. It's that good. We love it.
It was a huge hit the last time it was here, but Barnes was not writing at the time, so he couldn't do anything to it.
I have a feeling that Mr. Barnes is the gentleman that I think has been educated beyond his intelligence. I really do.
Listen, I hope the show runs for 5 years, and when it does, you'll stay. We need you here.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Will you come back and play with us?
Oh, yes.
Maybe come back and be on the panel one day?
By all means.
That would be terrific,
Love it.
Ricardo.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Buy for the money you need.
You know, it's really fascinating that all of us who get up and perform and take the position that we're interesting enough to watch for 2 hours and a half very often get it rather toughly from the critics. And it's, I think, fair sometimes to give it back to them. But, Gene, you know, there is a theory that a critic makes no contribution. And you are a critic, and I want to know what you think of that. What is a critic's role?
I make a contribution. I give it the office.
No, really, what do you think is the role of a critic now? Is it to condemn?
I think the critic is really an educator, and as well as a master of the shopping list for the public, which has to pay $12 or $15 for a play, and it's going to cost them $50 before the evening's over. They have a right to know. I think actually Clive Barnes was being honorable in the review. He should not have disqualified himself when he did say that he did not think that this was George Bernard Shaw's best work by any means. I think he said that right out, and then he reviewed the show. Look, people see me on the street and they say, "There goes the butcher." I walk in the restaurant, there's some actors hanging around, and they say, "Death to the enemy." You know, the actor, the performer, and the critic are in 2 different worlds.
Enemies. Listen, it isn't always the critic. I once was in a play, and we got good reviews, but the word of mouth killed us.
We'll see you Monday. Goodbye, everybody. Have fun.
This is Ted Gould speaking for What's My Line, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Miss Frances Gowns by Baldwin Teller. This program was recorded.